Well, hello, and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You are listening to episode 267. I'm Victoria Gallagher, Law of Attraction hypnotist and number one best-selling author of Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desires. I'm also the founder of hiptalk.com, HypnoCloud apps, and soon to be Believe apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download that app from the App Store today. And today I have a very special guest with me, LaTisha Styles. LaTisha is a speaker, author, coach, online marketing certified professional. She is the founder and CEO of You've Got Clients and author of Assume the Throne: 4 Steps to Unlock Your True Identity and Power as a Leader. To her audience of over 88,000 followers, subscribers, and regular viewers, LaTisha provides tips, guidance, and insights on marketing, branding, content creation, mindset, and more. Her message is simple: you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. Because of her extensive work mentoring entrepreneurs, she has consulted with and partnered as a content producer, brand ambassador, and expert for high profile companies, including Progressive Insurance, the National Association of Realtors, Beazer Homes, and PNC Bank. And her work has been featured in notable publications, including Forbes, Fast Company, and Business Insider. And she can be found at a number of websites. You've got clients.com/posts, letitia.tv, letitiastyles.com, YouTube, and we'll have all of the information about this in our show notes. Today, Letitia is going to be talking about one of my favorite topics and sharing her insights on how to use your subconscious mind to reach your goals faster. So welcome to the show, Letitia.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the lovely introduction. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you here and so good to meet you. And here you are in your pretty room with the beautiful, pink background. And I did have a visit to your website, and it's very royal looking. So I was excited to have you on the show. But before we really get into the whole topic, can you tell us just a little bit about a little more about yourself and like how you got started in your business?
Sure. So I got started, honestly, I was working full time and I knew that there was something more for me. I knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to work for myself. And so I started taking that path and taking that journey. I ended up, I first created a budget, which I called 3 years to freedom. And as I was on that path of starting to pay down credit card debt and really get my finances in a place where I could leave my job, I ended up making that leap into entrepreneurship. And my process of getting started was not easy. I honestly didn't really know what I was doing. I now that I look back, I think of, there's so much that I just didn't know. But at the time, I was just really determined. So the very first thing that I did was I started a personal finance blog because I have a finance degree, and I decided to just start sharing a little bit more about my personal finance journey, as well as some of the things I had learned in college. And then from there, I started creating content for small business owners and helping them with their marketing and blogs. And that's kind of what led me to what I'm doing now. But that entire process of starting up a business and getting it to a point where it could be successful and viable really involved me getting a good handle on the mental blocks that I had, things that were in the way, really understanding what was holding me back from the success that I wanted to see. And one of the very first things that that I had to admit was that I needed help. And I needed to admit that I needed someone to guide me and I needed some support. I needed some mentorship. And that admission was one of the very first, I will say, subconscious blocks of, a sense of pride and a sense of I can do it myself. And that was one of the first things that I had to move through in order to make it to creating an actual successful business in the area of marketing consulting.
Yeah. Yeah, that is so hard, I think, because it takes a certain personality to begin with to want to move into entrepreneurship. Like,
Hmm.
you are an independent person that, and when you're speaking as an independent person and then, you say, oh, I, you like, I guess I need some help with this. That is a
Yeah,
very hard thing because, so much of what we do is so ego driven. And it's like, what if if I admit that I need help, maybe it makes me seem, you know, like I
like
can't
weak,
figure this out myself,
right?
weak, all of that. But it's a very good point because,
Mhm.
like, there's so many things that go into running a business that you never ever realize until you actually, get going in it. So good for you on
Absolutely.
realizing that it's a hard thing you know, to come to. So, since you've now gotten to this level of success, what is the next step for you?
So honestly, the next step for me is really getting grounded in my true message. And that's part of, you kind of mentioned that, like going to the website and seeing like a lot of the royal elements. And what I've learned over the past years in, helping clients, business owners, I would give them marketing strategy and I would share with them, these are the things that you need to do. And these are steps you have to take. And then there was inevitably something that, just kind of prevented them from moving forward. Not everyone, obviously, but I would see it here and there. And what I came to realize was that there was a sense of imposter syndrome a lot of times that clients have and that I had as well, and still do have to an extent. But there's a sense of imposter syndrome. There's things like fear of failure, things like fear of greatness, a potential to self-sabotage, and a lot of these things that kept showing up over and over again. What I realized was that in order for me to truly help my clients, I had to get really clear and grounded in my message, which is you are a powerful creator. You have the ability to create your own version of a lavish life. And even though that might not sound as concrete as I can help you get clients, I can help you create marketing systems, it's really what brings everything together. And it's really what makes all of the other things work. And so now when I work with clients, we really start at a more holistic level of let's look at everything. Let's look at all areas of life and business and make sure that they are all in alignment with what you truly want to do. Because sometimes, we could be running up the hill in the wrong direction when if we just recognize that this is not actually where we want to head, we can finally go in the true direction where we want to go. So it's really about helping clients to step into that next level version of themselves, be willing to assume the throne, take that responsibility that they have enough, they've done enough, and now it's time to say, okay, this is what I want, this is what I desire, and this is how it's going to happen. And so there's a lot of things that go on mentally that have to happen in order to see the success on the marketing and business side.
Absolutely. And it's so important to really dial in, like what the whole big picture looks like, not just
Mm-hmm.
the life in your business, but, like, does this really align with all your other values? Because it's not just about making a lot of money or having a big social media presence or I
Mm-hmm.
was going to drop something there or all of that success, but it's really about just having high quality life that makes you happy. And, that imposter syndrome is so prevalent with so many people. Can you tell us just a little bit for those, a lot of us know what it is, but
Yeah.
how does it show up for a lot of people?
So imposter syndrome shows up when you have a belief or a doubt that you're qualified enough to be in the room, that you should be where you are, that you are. It stems from a visual representation of you looking at yourself from the inside, honestly, instead of from the outside looking in. And so if you were to look at yourself from the outside looking in, you would view yourself the same way that everyone else views you, as this accomplished person that's done all of these things. And so one of the very first things that I do with clients is we go through an exercise that I call 77 reasons that I'm the sugar honey iced tea. And that's a
I
Southern
love
thing.
it.
So I don't, I don't know if you've ever heard that, but we just take the first letter of sugar honey iced tea, and that's 77 reasons I'm the sugar honey iced tea. And
Ah, yes, there we go. Okay. I got it.
so essentially what that is it's an opportunity for you to really write down every single reason that you are great, from the idea that maybe you taught yourself how to crochet, which is one thing I had to put down, versus, okay, you've gotten featured in a magazine or whatever it is. It's all the individual things. I'm a great mom, I am a great father, like I am this person, and this is why I'm great, this is why I am unique. And so when we really get clear on that, it starts to help clear out some of that imposter syndrome. And then you can write the bio, the beautiful, like, forward looking bio that's like, hey, I am awesome and these are all of the reasons why. And you can step forward in confidence. You can charge what your services are worth, because it all stems from an idea of, I am worth it, I am worthy, I have done enough, I am enough, and now it's time for me to step into it.
I love that. I love the list of 77 reasons I am the
Yeah.
SHIT. That is awesome. Do you ever have people though that, like, they're just they get stuck, like they say, "Oh, I can only come up with 5."
All the time, all the time. And it's funny because it's like every single client, and they're like, oh, I got to 34 or I got to 56. And whenever I hear that, I tell them, the first time I had to do this exercise, I had to do 100. So just be happy that it's only 77. And so then what happens is they'll start going through, and then they just start grasping for things, which is the
Mhm.
purpose of the exercise.
Mhm.
And that's really where you go deep and you realize, like, wow, I played kickball in elementary school, and I was always picked first. And like that might seem like an insignificant thing, but what does that mean? That means that you likely had a lot of friends, you're likely good at getting along with people. So it's like those little things that often we don't really take the time to acknowledge everything we've done, and also who we are just at our core level. And that will really help to banish that imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I really like that, pushing beyond what you think, that you have all those qualities, because
Mhm.
you're right. I mean, that to me, that's like a really great technique for accessing the subconscious,
Yep.
which, we're starting to get into. And so some people, well, how let's talk about the subconscious. So how
Okay.
do you use the subconscious to reach your goals faster?
So the way that I use the subconscious to reach my goals faster is I have a couple of different exercises. So one exercise that I use is called the five senses exercise. And the premise behind this is that your subconscious mind doesn't necessarily understand today, tomorrow, next week, next year. It doesn't understand, I want to make $1 million. It doesn't understand, I want, like, it, all it knows is, I'm going to help you breathe. I'm going to help your arms move. I'm going to help you walk. Like, these are the things that the subconscious mind is controlling. And so what the five senses exercise does is it allows you to translate the words that your conscious mind is bringing up into a directive for your subconscious mind. So what this looks like is, if there's a goal that you want to reach, let's say, I want to generate $3 million in my business next year or whatever, just $3 million. Doesn't even have to have a time frame on it. Then you'll start with the five senses. So you'll say, if it were a smell, it would smell like bread freshly baked from the oven. So you just choose like, what is that smell that to you would feel like, yeah, that feels like $3 million. If it were a taste, what would it taste like? If it were a touch, what would it feel like? If it were a sight, what would it look like? And I think I forgot if it were I forgot the last one, but whatever the last whatever the last one
Let's
is, your
see.
five senses.
We had taste, smell,
Sight,
feeling.
smell,
Let's
taste.
see. We had
Yeah.
a touch.
Sight, smell. Okay, I'll just go like this. Oh, a sound. If it were a sound, what would it sound like? So when I put these things out there and I'm like, okay, if it were a sound, what would it feel like? I'm like, oh, the first thing that comes to mind is like fireworks. It's like that big boom of fireworks as it goes up. It's like, it's a little shocking to your system, but it feels really good because then you get to see the firework display. And the key with this exercise is that you have to, the first thing that comes to mind, like literally the first image that comes to mind, because that's what your subconscious mind is bringing forth. And so once you have those things, the next time you revisit that goal and you say, okay, I want to make, $3 million, you read through all of those things and you feel that emotion and you literally go into that mindset of, okay, I'm hearing it, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it, I'm touching it, like this is what it is. And then what happens is, because your subconscious mind can make associations much faster than your conscious mind, you'll randomly feel inspired to like reach out to someone you haven't talked to in a while, or, you'll go to some event that you didn't feel like going to, but you're like, well, I guess I'll go because whatever. And then suddenly, because a lot of these things happen through other individuals, you'll meet someone or you'll have a conversation with someone that will help you get to the point where you're at that goal of that 3 million.
That I love that. That makes so much sense. I mean, because our subconscious doesn't know the difference between what's real and imagined. So as you're imagining those things, and I call that the super conscious is
Yeah.
directing all that process of starting to like get these insights, these ideas, these hunches. It's like, oh, I think I'll go there, I'll call that person. So it makes so much sense. Now, some people obviously they have these fears that things like that are just not going to work, or their business isn't going to work. They have a business in mind. They have a lot of fear that if they invest in that business, which, investing in business, like, let's face it, it can cost a lot of money. It's like you're putting your money where your mouth is,
Yeah.
essentially, right? But like, how do people overcome this fear that it's not gonna work?
I always say that beliefs are the foundation of every action that you take. So if you believe that it's not going to work, you will take actions that will cause it not to work. If you believe that it will work, you will take actions that will cause it to work. Now, whether it ultimately does or doesn't work is not really something that you can control. So there's two things that I like to discuss, which are outcome-based goals and effort-based goals. So if you are making an investment because you're focused on an outcome-based goal, which is like, I want to make $3 million. So I'm going to make this investment. I'm going to make $3 million. That is not a goal that you can control. However, if you focus on an effort-based goal, like I'm going to speak to 3 people a day, I'm going to, whatever action is directly related to that goal, then all you need to do is focus on those efforts. And so it doesn't cost you anything more to have a belief that you're going to succeed than it does to have a belief that you're not going to succeed. So I would prefer to have a belief that I'm going to succeed. Then I look at an effort-based goal and I say, okay, great. Did I do this thing today? Did I take action every single day? Even if the action is, I need to take a break today, I need to rest because I'm feeling led to just relax, that's fine. But did I do something every single day that is leading me towards, in the direction of the belief that I believe that I'm going to be successful? And if you truly have a belief that you're going to be successful, whether it's in this business or the next business, or, with something that you haven't even seen yet, if you look at it as, okay, this is going to fail or it could fail, you're paying attention to the wrong thing. And I like to use the visual of, whenever you're driving, in driving school, they tell you, look in the direction of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're turning, you're not still looking the other way, because otherwise you can't see where you're turning. And that's what people do if they feel like, okay, I feel like I might fail. They're not looking in the direction of the turn. The direction of the turn is, I believe I'm going to succeed. So that's where you should be looking. That's where you should be placing your focus. And that's going to help you to perpetuate that belief.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it is. It doesn't cost you any more to believe in yourself succeeding than it does to believe. It actually costs less, I think,
Yeah.
if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you might make some, mistakes along the way. You
Mm-hmm.
might make wrong, some wrong turns, but eventually those turns will eventually lead you down, the road to success. And,
Absolutely.
like I always say, like, worrying about something is like praying for the opposite thing
Yeah.
that you
Praying for
want
the
to
thing you don't
happen.
want. Yeah.
What do you
Absolutely.
think is one of the most common things that your clients experience that's holding them back from evolving into the person, that is in alignment with their true potential?
Often what I see, especially because I do help clients in the area of growing their business, which leads to money. Often I see a mismatch of, I want to make money, but I believe I have to make money in this way versus the thing that I truly want to do. And so that's part of the reason why I do like to speak with clients initially to really get a clear understanding of where they want to go. A perfect example is one of the very first clients. This is how I learned this. One of the very first clients that I worked with came to me and she said, I want help to grow my social media marketing business. So I said, okay, great. We're going to, start moving down that path. And, we were rocking and rolling, getting her website together, funnels, all those things. And then after we ended our time together, I noticed that she was working with another coach on a completely different business. And so I reached out to her and I said, hey, it's good to see that you're doing well. I just wanted to catch up. And she said, yeah, she said, I really enjoyed working with you, but I realized that I really want to be a fitness influencer. And this is my passion and this is what I love doing. And, that was a lesson to me in that you have to be really clear on what you want and you have to be in alignment with what is going to light you up. She thought she had to do the social media management thing because she wanted to leave her job. She wanted to make money and she saw that as the fastest path to success. But this is the problem, because then you're running, as I like to say, you're running up the wrong hill and you're running up the hill in the wrong direction. And instead, if you were to focus in on what you truly want to do and how you want to show up, it's just much more flow. And that's what alignment is, right? It's like a straight line instead of like trying to do all this, cricket turns.
Yeah, I totally believe in that. I mean, I always like think about, just do what you love and the money will follow.
Mhm.
And but so many people just don't believe that they can actually make money, or doing what they love.
Mhm.
And and so they'll work for money, but as soon as you decide, you make that decision that you're going to work for money, you're always going to be a slave to money.
Yep.
And, and so what you're saying makes a ton of sense. So how can people kind of get past that? What would you have done differently, I guess, with this particular client, to help her to tap into that higher calling that she
Yeah.
actually had for herself?
Yeah, it could have been as easy as just reframing it. Like if we were to say, okay, we're going to do the social media piece right now because this is what's going to allow you to leave your job. But as we're doing that, because you really want to go into a fitness, becoming a fitness influencer, maybe we only work with clients who are in the fitness area or only do that. And then that way you can start transitioning and transition into the next thing. There's sort of like two camps here. There's one camp that says just burn the bridges, like get rid of the stuff you don't want to do and jump feet first into what you want to do. And I think that there's some validity there. Like there, it could be right for someone, but at the same time, there's also a more measured approach that you could take, which is a transition. So if you know you don't like your job, but your job is what's paying the bills right now, then you can hang on to your job and at the same time do what's one small thing that you can do today in the direction of your goals. And then it becomes two small things, and then it suddenly becomes, well, now you're completely in operating in where you want to be, and the job is long in the distance. And so there's sort of two camps and two ways you could approach it. But I think with that client in particular, I would have done a transition because she really didn't like her job. So it would have been like, okay, let's just social media. We're going to just grind it out right now. We're going to take on some clients so you can leave your job and then, you can go into your fitness thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's very, very sound advice. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to your personality style and,
Mm-hmm.
or the circumstances that you're presented with.
Absolutely.
In my situation 24 years ago, thought I was going to make a slow transition, and then my boss found out that what I was doing, and at that
Yeah.
time it was like a conflict of interest, so he gave me an ultimatum and had to jump ship.
Yep. Sometimes it's like that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. So, this has been extremely, informative and helpful wisdom and insight, to help people, to really move in that direction toward your dreams. Get your subconscious mind on board. Help people to release that resistance, and tell us what would be like a great step forward that they could take after watching this or listening to this podcast with you.
A Absolutely. I will say the first thing that you wanna get really clear on is, what do you desire? So at the very beginning when you were reading my bio where I said, you deserve to achieve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them. Well, you deserve to achieve your dreams, but you have to know what your dreams are. So get really clear on what you desire, get really clear on what you want, and really, like, let it flow in all areas of life. So career, relationships, health, love, personal development, money, like all areas of life. Really get clear on, like, if I could have it my way, what would I want this area of life to look like? And sometimes this exercise is a little bit confronting because then you start recognizing maybe how far away you are. But also, you could recognize that you're feeling really whole in a certain area in your life and you're feeling a sense of gratitude. And so it's a really great exercise. So that's the first thing I would say to start with. And then the next thing from there would be to eliminate the alternatives. So start making decisions that will move you in the direction of where you'd like to go, and start taking those actions.
I love it. Eliminate the alternatives. And it's like not quite burning the bridges, or
Yeah.
maybe it is.
Just a little bit, just a little at a time. We just chop off a little bit, like, okay, we're no longer, I don't like traffic. So this is an example from my life. When I was working at my full-time job, the one thing I wanted to do was leave my job.
Mhm.
And part of the reason is because I didn't like traffic. I couldn't stand it. I still don't like traffic. And so one small thing that I was able to do there was I just got up a little bit earlier. And because I was able to wake up earlier, I didn't have to worry about traffic. I was at work a little bit earlier, which was fine. But now I have one less thing that I don't like about that area of life. And that gives me space. It gives me more happiness and space so that I can start manifesting the things that I do want and attracting the things that I do want in all areas of life.
Yeah, and it's such a great thing too, because it's like once you start, just one step at a time, you start, taking things off your plate that you don't like. It
Mhm.
actually frees up your time to devote more toward what it is that you do like, and then it just sort of becomes like, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it it kind of a
Abundance.
snowball, a
Yeah,
snowball
snowball.
effect of abundance, and
Yeah.
yeah, and stepping into your greatness. So tell us about this. You're offering a free gift to our listeners of the Power of Your Mind podcast, and can you tell them a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So the free gift is a free training all about the 4 steps to go from best kept secret to best paid expert.
Ooh.
And it's really all about helping you get clear on what you desire, what you'd like to do. And from there, I've got an entire program where I help you go through those 3 steps where you can get clear on your dreams, decide and start eliminating alternatives, and do, which is exactly what I shared inside of my manifestation goal planner. I don't know if there's
Ooh.
going to be a video here, but this is the manifestation goal planner that I created. And it takes you through those 3 steps: dream, decide, do, because you deserve your dreams, but only if you decide to do whatever it takes to get them.
I love it. That's beautiful.
Thank
That is
you.
beautiful. And for those of you, that's just one more reason to go over to YouTube and watch it over there. Uh,
Absolutely.
is Dream, Decide, Do was on the
Do.
front of
Yep.
your manifestation goal planner. And it's like got these big gold three, ring or not three, like ring
Yeah. The
binder
wire
and
binding.
the wire binding. It's beautiful, absolutely
Thank you.
beautiful. So that's what part of what you're going to get in one of the programs that comes after the 4-step process to help
Absolutely.
people to get clear. Well, and you guys can get that over at LaTisha.tv/power. So that's LaTisha, LATISHA.tv/power. And that's LaTisha's free gift to you for listening to us today on the Power of Your Mind podcast. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of your wisdom and your insight with us on, really how to step into empowering yourself to become the person that you were always meant to be, especially when it comes to business. I think I just think everyone should, become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And because, even if it's you turn out, it's not for you, at least that is something that I think everyone it's such a personal development endeavor and you're going to
It
grow
is.
and learn so
Mhm.
much about yourself as a person. So, if you are already, then you can definitely empower yourself by getting the free gift and going through that process. Do you have any last comments or remarks or any additional tips that you want to leave our listeners with today?
Yeah, I will say the last thing that I would leave your listeners with is just a reminder that you already have enough. You already are enough. You just have to assume the throne. You just have to step into that greatness and stop dimming your light, because we need you. We need the very special thing that you have, and the thing that makes you the sugar honey iced tea.
Ooh, yeah, the sugar honey iced tea. Yes. Thank you so much for being on the Power of Your Mind podcast today.
Thank you.
And thank you, listeners, for tuning in and listening. And once again, you can get LaTisha's free gift at LaTisha.tv/power. And we will see you next week.